Howdy, kids. Today is Saturday, September 6th at 6:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for legal reasons, to avoid lawsuits, I'm going to say, hey, I'm drunk. Anything I say is just drunk talk. Because in this day and age, if you speak the truth in this United States, you will be castigated. You will be outcast. You will be punished mercilessly by so-called higher powers. And those higher powers attempt to claim the mantle of God. They think they're gods. They think they rule over us because we are inferior. We're inferior stock. Inferior cattle. Stock market. What was the stock market? The stock market originally in Wall Street was a platform for trading slaves. Oh my, nothing has changed. The word slave has simply been rebranded as employee, and all the overhead of maintaining the slave class has been pushed onto the slaves themselves. Go figure. Wonder why life sucks in this country? Wonder why there are so many problems around the world? Because we still have a relatively small percentage of the human population, which numbers above 8 billion at this point. We have a relatively small percentage of the population which has inherited a slaver mentality from their ancestors. And they still believe that they are chosen by God to rule over all of us. Look at Israel. Look at what they're doing to the Gazans. Look what they're doing to the Palestinians. Look what they've done by stealing the lands of the native inhabitants. Oh, but Scott, you're an American. Didn't your people do that to the Native Americans? Yes, we did. At a terrible cost. Terrible cost. Not only to the victims of this oppression, which is repeating itself in Israel right now and in Ukraine, but also to ourselves, because we have failed as a people. We've committed gross, heinous actions against innocent civilians. And the American taxpayers, like you and me, we are complicit through our silence. You judge a man based on his actions, not his words, because words are ephemeral. Words are the playground of liars and cheaters and con artists who like to create confusion and sow dissent. Because when there is disagreement, there is opportunity to take advantage of people's hesitation. And that's what these people do for a living. They're profiteers. They profit off of human suffering. Is there no better definition to Satanism than profiting off of human suffering? I can think of none. And I ain't no dummy. I've been around a while, 51 years, being my own form of scholar, academic, reporter, whatever you want to call it. Someone who wants to find the truth about this world that we live in so that I can make better informed decisions. It's driven by self-interest, but it's also driven out of a sense of empathy for oppressed people, because in my lifetime, I have firsthand experienced plenty of oppression. Nothing rising to the level of what the people in Ukraine and, more importantly, Gaza have experienced. When you have an Israeli government that bombs hospitals, and then performs a double tap where they wait for the first responders to arrive and then they bomb it again to kill off the medics. What the fuck? Oh, and by the way, they targeted reporters who are telling the truth on the ground level. What does that tell you? It tells you that they are hiding their crimes. They know that they are in the spotlight. And this traces beyond Israel. It traces into the international banking system. It traces into all levels of government. Look at the nations that have remained silent in the face of this genocide and ask yourself, are those legitimate governments, or do they deserve to fall because they do not serve the people? We, the people, demand peace and justice. We do not want endless wars for profit, for a small group of people who are in the club, who share trade secrets, who share little handshakes and little gestures, and we're Illuminati, the devil horn. All the people who flash the devil horn, you're fucking dumbasses. You've fallen for the psyop. And you don't see it because you're not informed. And that's on purpose. It's by design. They want to keep you ignorant so that they can control you, because what you don't know makes you fearful. And when you're afraid, then you're easily manipulated because you're looking for a solution to a problem that is causing you fear. So the owner class deliberately pursues a Hegelian dialectic where they create a problem, they let the emotions rise to a boiling point, and then they swoop in with a solution to a problem that they created in the first place because they are social engineers. They are engineering all this chaos because they believe in order from chaos. Order ab chao, however you pronounce it. I never studied Latin. I only have a tangential understanding of Latin. But if I had a son today, I would tell him, son, you must learn Latin. You must learn the classic languages because there is so much knowledge that is hidden away in those seemingly ancient old languages that they tell you, don't bother studying Latin. Don't bother studying this, that, the other thing because, it doesn't matter. But in reality, the only way you can find objective truth in reality is by studying those subjects. Any musician who has not studied opera to some degree isn't a musician. It's an ignorant pseudo-musician. Someone who is ignoring a very rich tradition that poses insights for any musician. It's like that with geopolitics. It's like that with the economy. It's like that with so many subjects, which we all ignore because we trust authorities. Authorities, they got a PhD. They must be smart. No, folks, that ain't how it works. Most of the people you see out there who have credentials, they're full of shit. And they're operating for financial interests. Self-interest, because they're human. And they saw an angle and they took it. And, on that level, I can understand it. But, if you're the kind of person who's willing to sacrifice the greater good for your own personal gain, well, then you are no friend of mine. In fact, you are an enemy. Because Americans stand for those seemingly cliched and yet 100% morally and ethically correct concepts. Truth, justice, and the American way. Because no people on earth have attained this level of intellectual and spiritual honesty as was embodied in our founding documents, which have been perverted over the years by outside foreign interests and internal traitors, people who don't understand what it means to be an American. And I look around at a whole lot of people that I interact with on a daily basis, and I see a whole lot of good people trapped in a bad system, a system that has been corrupted by evil. There is no better word for it. It's evil. If you don't recognize the fact that each and every single human being is a splinter of God the Creator, and I'm not talking religion, because religion is a man-made concoction of bullshit designed to control your mind. I'm talking about real God, the higher power, the Creator. We are operating within a creation. You didn't create it. And I didn't create it, so somebody else had to created it. Some other entity or force must have created this. It just didn't happen spontaneously. It's not Mother Nature just, casually throwing a bunch of shit into a pot and hoping that the stew comes out well. This is a plan, a divine plan. And until each and every single one of us recognizes the fact that what you do to another person will rebound on you in one way, shape, or form, then you're working in disharmony with God or the oversoul or higher powers or guardian angels or spirit guides or Muhammad or Buddha or whatever it is you choose to frame this particular subject within. I stand in shock, but I'm not surprised. I've always been a little bit quicker in some ways and a whole lot slower in others. Financial matters, I don't give a shit. I don't care if I'm poor or broke. What I care about is integrity. And right now, what I see among my people is a sorely lacking sense of integrity. People who are just paying their bills, going along to get along. While just yesterday, I had an opportunity to go to Walmart, the epitome of corporate greed. And what did I find? Well, within just the past couple months since I last went to Walmart, the price for 10 pounds of ground chuck beef, the bottom level of meat nutrition, the cheapest per pound, went from $3.33 a pound to $4.33 a pound. Why? I was told that the beef that they get is from Cargill, which is a local plant. Why would the local plant increase their prices so dramatically? Well, because they have overhead, and their overhead is being turned into a crushing weight because corporations are trying to monopolize everything. They don't want small businesses to thrive. They want everyone to be subservient to them. They want total control. They want to eat your lunch. And that's what they do on every level. And they have all these willing dumbasses who go along to get along, and they just play the game and say, well, that's just the way it is. Nothing I can do about it. I got to feed my family. I got to pay my rent. Got to pay my mortgage. Got to pay my bills. Got to do this, that, and the other thing. When it's all in your head. They have mind-fucked you all. And they mind-fucked me for a long time, too. But to quote Jason Brashears at Archaics.com, break free or die trying. That's all you can do when you're a wage slave, when you're one of the undesirables, the unmentionables, the unclean, the heathen, the goyim, when you're not part of their club. What else can you do? Well, my advice to anyone listening to this message is speak out. Do not be a coward. Fight back against this tyranny. Tyranny that I can list historical precedents up the wazoo. I can look back on 9/11. I mean, in America, that's when we really fell. 9/11. We allowed George W. Bush and his gang of criminal scumbags to foist the Patriot Act upon us. My God, even back then, when I was still deluded and still hypnotized by my programming through public school and college and media and hell, even family members who were also indoctrinated and kept saying, well, this is how it's done. No, it's not. That's not the American way. The American way is to say, no, I do not conform to some human hierarchy, human authority. No, I follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But, or I should say, and, do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. How would you like it if the Russians created a political maelstrom in Mexico and a whole lot of immigrants came across the border? Wait a minute. Oh, is this an attack against Russia? Well, no. We have an amazingly diabolical immigration crisis here in America, as well as our former friends in Europe who turned out to be our worst enemies because those motherfuckers never gave up their colonies. They have full intentions of reconquering our land, which our ancestors won through force of arms. It is well documented. This is not conspiracy theory. This is historical fact. The same group of bankers, money changers, the same people Jesus Christ threw out of the temple, the same people, their descendants, are causing the majority of all the problems around the world because they are satanic at heart. Choose whichever label you want. Satanic has a lot of baggage, but they're evildoers. They're people who like to fuck shit up and then profit from the carnage that they create because they don't care about human beings. It's like, I don't know those people. They're not in my tribe, so fuck them. That's the attitude. It is grossly incorrect, immoral, unjust, and ungodly. Well, Scott, who are you to talk? Look at all the mistakes you made over your lifetime. Why are you sitting on your high horse and lecturing us? Fuck you. Well, I understand that sentiment. And I typically share it whenever anyone gets on their high horse. But in my case, I have truth on my side because I have no stake in this game. You know, I never sold out. Well, that's not true. Truth be told, for 9 months, the last 9 months I was committed to my marriage, I sold out. For 9 months, I gave up not only writing, but music. I gave it up for my family to satisfy my ex-wife's ego and her perceived notions of success. I gave it all up and I worked at a Wegmans in the seafood department, doing the 9 to 5, punching the time clock, obeying authority, all that shit. And I made not even enough money to pay rent on an apartment in Boston. If it weren't for my ex-wife's deep pockets, we wouldn't have had money to pay rent. We'd have had to go somewhere else. That's the crux of the argument right there. How a whole lot of good people, and I grudgingly admit my ex-wife into this category, a whole lot of good people who are trapped in a bad system, a system that has been designed by diabolical interests, ungodly interests, not just uncouth, but unclean in so many ways that they would even abuse children. They would mass murder children in Gaza, bomb hospitals, and then double tap and bomb the first responders. How heinous is that? How can any righteous individual sit idly on the sidelines and not speak out against this? I don't understand it. Maybe it's because I don't have financial interests to protect. But you know, if you love mammon and money more than you love God the Creator, more than you love itself, love for other human beings, then you're a fucked up person and you best stand clear of me. Don't meet me in a dark alley anytime soon. You might be better than me physically. You might be able to beat my ass. But when I go down, I'll take a few of you with me. By God. Because this is unconscionable. This is heinous to the extreme. And anyone who ignores this proves to be complicit in one of the worst crimes against humanity ever conducted against human beings.